Thank you very much, Mr. President. It is a fantastic honor to be here. I cannot think of anything more important than education. And in the 50 years I've been associated with Blacksburg, this university has gotten stronger, better, under the great leadership behind me and under your energy going forward. It's interesting for me. It's great to be back, right, to bring back the memories. It's an honor to be here. My father taught here, which is why I grew up here. And those were some of the best days of my life. And I remembered riding my bicycle. Of course, I was 12, so I didn't have a car, so I rode my bicycle around town. And I rode it, and I used to go to the Lyric Theater, which is still here, and I would watch movies, of course, and I would park my bicycle in front of the police station. Because I figured if you're going to park your bicycle, we didn't have locks back then, you should park it someplace safe. So I come out of the movie, and my bicycle has been stolen. And I'm incredibly upset. Right, it's my only possession. And so I go into the police, and they sit there, and I report my bike is stolen, and they take me upstairs, and they have safekeeped my bicycle in jail, just in case I had lost it. That's the town that I grew up in. That's the values of Blacksburg. It's the sense of community and the support that we've all been talked about. And those values are powerful, and they've stuck with me for so many years. Now, it's interesting that when you return to a place where you have intense memories, you're struck by how much it's changed. Blacksburg, so much more prosperous, so much better, so much investment, so many smarter people. But the truth is, when you go back to a place that you grew up in, it is you who have changed so much more. And that the key thing about life is how you change based on the things around you. And this town, of course, makes me think of my father, who taught here for so long, and he was such a role model for me. Now, what's interesting in looking at you and thinking about sitting in the chairs and not being too hot, I hope, is that your parents, in the way, did this too. They have a memory of your lives and your birth. And the stadium is filled with people who have gotten you to where you are right now. Parents, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, grandparents. They've made the sacrifices. They've given you laughter and love when you needed it most. They've encouraged and inspired you. They've taught you more than you know, and you don't fully appreciate how profoundly good your family and your parents are. And you will as you reproduce and you have families and children and so forth. And today, when you walk across the stage, I want you to grab the diploma and remember that when they cheer, they're cheering louder than you possibly could imagine. They're so incredibly proud of you. So take a minute and look to the left and look to the right and thank your parents and thank your family right now. You should love them. They love you. Now, I want to start by offering a quote. It's not mine, but I think it goes to the heart of your time here and your time to come. I choose to live, not just exist. You come from a long line, a rich history of people who have come to this campus and decided to live, not just to exist, to stand up and speak out and to make the most of their lives. Now, obviously, plenty of great people, stellar engineers, writers, artists, pioneers, 2 governors, some astronauts, war heroes, the first man to fly across the North Pole, the first woman registered as a professional engineer in the state of Virginia, the guy who owns the single-day record for Jeopardy winnings, and even the former basketball star who is the father of the new reigning NBA MVP. Now, trust me, those of us in San Francisco care a lot about this one. And now you follow. It's your turn. Yes, you sitting here, baking in the sun, thinking about a party, perhaps hungover based on some of the earlier celebrations, saying to yourself, now that's a lot of pressure. What can I do? What can I do as I graduate? I can't answer specifically for each of you. I don't know that each and every one of you will be an NBA Most Valuable Player, but I can tell you that this place has a way of preparing you to realize now, in a tradition that you've heard in the speakers before me, to serve, to succeed, and to build a world that you want. And it's not just that what you've learned in the classrooms, it's the hiking in the Cascades in the freezing cold, and I remember it well. Every time you sat at the edge of the War Memorial and watched the sunset, you went to the drill field, and I played in the snow, and I know what it was like, or sang karaoke at Tots. Every time you have sat together in this stadium, watched a fantastic football team on a brisk fall Saturday, or listening to Enter Sandman. those are the times I think you've learned just as much. Those are the times you have become who you are. Now, every class has its own unique challenges. Every class enters a history that, up to the point, has been written for you. This is no different. But what is different now is that your generation has to take that history and write it longer and larger. Think of it as from the engineer so you can program it better. And on that score, your generation's opportunities are far greater for all the reasons that you can think of. You're connecting to each other in ways that was not possible before. You're using those connections to strengthen the invisible ties that hold humanity together. The connections are what make us human. They're the things that make us stronger. These emblems of the sense of possibility that will define our new age. You literally write the code for all of us. Now, what do you all do when you get up? You check your phone, of course. You read some email. You comb through all your social networks. If you're awake, you're online. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, you check your email and you go back to sleep. You're connected. And some of you are probably texting right now, tweeting the speech, Instagramming everything, changing your status. I know your life is always complicated, right? Now, that may not be so much. It may be mundane. It's daily life for you. But don't take that power for granted. What you carry with you every day can change the world. When I was in college, I spent the summers working at Burris Hall in the computer center. And the computer center consisted of one computer called an IBM 370-158, and it had a megabit of memory and a megahertz of processing power. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, oh, it's a room with a computer. And I said, no, you don't understand. The computer was as big as the room, right? And what's interesting, and it probably cost around $10 million. Now take a break from Snapchatting and just listen to these numbers. In your phone, you've probably got 64, 128 gigabits of computation for, let's say, $500 plus or minus unsubsidized. That's 20,000 times cheaper and 100,000 times faster, so it's 2 trillion times more useful than the computer I used here 40 years ago. This is very distressing. Now, it's not just this massive change that you've seen. I was here in 1999, and I delivered a similar commencement to a much smaller and less successful university. And then I realized, I was looking it up, and I realized that it's not on YouTube because YouTube wasn't invented. And I didn't have a smartphone because they weren't invented. Google was 1 year old, and I didn't work there. Amazon was still only a bookstore. Facebook had not been founded. You couldn't use Twitter. Napster reigned. And of course, Google Maps didn't exist, so I couldn't find any. I had to sort of navigate in the usual way, by maps, the old kind. So when you think about it, this is a lot of change, right? We take this stuff for granted, and modern innovation is, as a result, happening much faster than ever. So in the 50 years or so that I've been associated here, the confluence and scale of knowledge is what changed me. We went from knowing almost nothing except our friends and the books we had on our shelves. All of our information about the area was what our friends told us or what the teachers told us. And now you can know almost everything about everything. You can read the rich history of the New River Valley and the rich and impressive accomplishments of BPI and tech and so forth, and all of the things going on in southwestern Virginia and all of the politics of Virginia now, just on your smartphone. If you change the way you approach things, then you have an opportunity to change the way your life begins. In other words, you choose to live this way. And I think that thanks to computer science, we have a lot more data than we've ever done. Computerized data analysis will become a profound tool that will be up to you, literally the next generation of great minds, to develop. And the nature of a new tool is that it's there for you to use however you want to use it. And if you don't use it, and you don't use it right, you'll screw up. So figure out a way to take advantage of these tools. And because you have this innate mastery of technology, which comes from being born the digital generation, you're the internet generation. You grew up online. You're the first generation to literally grow up with this as ubiquitous. People, it's interesting that I hear lots of people bemoaning this generation that specifically you all who grew up living life in front of computer screens, always connected to something or someone. I'm absolutely convinced that these critics are wrong. The fact that we are now all connected is a blessing. It's a blessing for safety. It's a blessing for education. It's a blessing for world peace. It's a blessing for economic growth. It's a blessing for your business futures, and so forth and so on. And with the development of the internet and the digitization of data, a world's worth of information is perpetually now at your fingertips. This opens the door to all sorts of interesting questions. How are we going to process all of this data? How will we leverage it all correctly? Machine learning and the other technologies that are at the forefront of what those of us in my industry do, how will you use it? How will you use it for good? How will we find the right balance between letting the data lead us and following our inherently creative and brilliant human intuition represented by you here on the floor? It's interesting that in the digital age, analysis and interpretation are even more important than factual knowledge. At Tech, I think you're better poised than anyone to understand this. You've lived it and bring it out in a bright and gleaming life. So here's the deal. It's true that we have the knowledge at our fingertips, but just because we know so much doesn't mean our problems go away. The future doesn't just happen, right? It's not etched or written or coded anywhere. There's no formula or algorithm that says that technology will do X, and if you do X, Y will happen. The technology doesn't work on its own. It's just a tool. You're the ones who harness its power. You're the one who lead it. It's in our service, and in particular, in your service. It's up to you to know your environment and to use these new tools at your disposal in the smartest and most effective ways possible. A computer is obviously capable of identifying insights that we would never want to know to look for by sheer brute force and so forth. But there's something that we cannot do ourselves. But the truth is there's plenty we can do and we need to do for ourselves. This intuition, compassion, and creativity, these are the things that make us special. These are the things that we do that much better than machines and define us as humans. These, having sharpened your skills here in Blacksburg, you will put in service for a better day for all of us. So we're on a cusp of a new and much larger scale of innovation, similar to the onset of the Industrial Revolution. You're at the beginning of a much, much larger set of ideas, innovation, and reach that are global in nature. Before that, human and growth and development were largely limited, right? But because of industrialization and now because of the knowledge age, there's nothing compared to what you're about to live through. You don't have to dream too hard to picture what this future will look like. A smart wall will wake you up and you'll say to the smart wall, "Do I need to get up?" And it'll say, "No." And you'll go back to sleep because the smart wall has figured out that nothing's going to happen in the next 18 minutes. New systems will be developed to remove CO2 and generate fuel, putting us on a path to address global warming and climate change. Cancer will be largely eliminated or largely manageable, saving the lives of children everywhere. We don't have, and on and on and on. We don't have to wait 40 years. Some of this will occur much more quickly. But someone has to make it happen, and those people are you. Computers just won't do this without us. It's not going to happen on an autopilot, and it's not going to happen because computers think it's going to happen. You need to drive it. You need to make it happen. And in order to do that, you have to choose to live, not just to exist. And people, by the way, all the people in the bleachers here, all of us are counting on you. The future that you're building is mine too. I intend for you to make this happen. I need you to do some things. I need you to follow the principles of VPI, of Virginia Tech. I need you to be curious. Ask a lot of big questions and go out and try to find the answers. Don't accept traditional or conventional wisdom. Define your life, and this is a key part of the university's motto, as what you do for others. What you do is not nearly as important as how you do it. Life's happiness is not what you do, but who you do it with. And be persistent. When someone says you're thinking too big, say, "I don't think I'm thinking big enough." Challenge them. Be smart enough not to listen to people who push you down. When someone says the odds are too small, be dumb enough to give it a shot. When someone asks, "How can you do that?" you say to them, "I'm a Hokie. I can make it happen. I'll figure it out." There's so much power in your hands, so much possibility. Now, hearing it, I know how important it is. you're going to be in the stadium to have Inner Salmon as part of the proceedings, which is why I chose that quote, "I want to choose to live, not just exist." I didn't want to quote some great ancient philosopher or Nobel laureate. I didn't want to go out to an old inventor or modern technologist. I wanted to quote James Hetfield, who's the lead singer of Metallica. He said that. So now we have the right quote. I figured Metallica is with you every time. So choosing to live means life is not lived in the glow of a monitor. Life is not a series of status updates. It's not based on your friend count. It's about the friends that you can count on and the people that you work with and the families that you build. Engage with the world around you. Feel and taste and smell and hug what's there right in front of you. Not what's a click away, but literally right in front of you. Don't just push a button saying you like something. Tell them yourself. Life is about who you love, how you live. It's who you travel with. It's all about the people here with whom you've shared so much. Life is about much more than just existing. So I need you to go out there and choose to live. You've accomplished so much to get here, but it pales into comparison to where you'll go next. I'm excited for what you're going to do once you walk off this stage. Grab that degree and you're off, right? You're off to a new world. You've got off to a new life of extraordinary accomplishment, literally right in front of you. So take each other's hands. You're off to Never Never Land. Congratulations to you all. Thank you.